Hi, my name's Kirsty and I study history. Today I'm going to show you around the University of Chester's Parkgate Road campus. Come and have a look around. Parkgate Road is where you'll find many of the university's central facilities, with the main library, sports facilities, student accommodation and the Students' Union all located on campus. It's everything you need, all in one place. In the centre of Binks you'll find our info point, filled with approachable staff here to offer you help and guidance whenever you need it. We also have our brasserie and grab-and-go Starbucks, perfect for that time you want to take a break. Next we'll head on over to the library. Seabourn Library is the main university's library and it is in the heart of the Parkgate Road campus. As well as a variety of books, journals and online resources, the library also offers bookable study pods, perfect for group or individual study. There's also 24-hour access computer suites, perfect for those late-night study sessions. The library is also staffed with subject-specific librarians that are on hand to help with whatever you need. There's also a cafe downstairs, ideal for that well-earned study break. Opposite the library, we have bookable study spaces available for both staff and students. You just book it online and then you have a guaranteed workspace. Parkgate Road has many sports facilities on campus. This is the fitness suite where there are qualified personal trainers here to offer you help and guidance whenever you need it. We have a variety of different membership options available to suit all sorts of different lifestyles and budgets. The fitness suite has over 100 pieces of equipment and is also where you'll find our 25-metre swimming pool, spin studio and dance studio. At the bottom of our campus, you'll find a multifunctional sports hall that staff and students can alter the space of depending on the type of sport they want to play. Near to the sports hall, we have the floodlit AstroTurf, used frequently by our sports teams for sports such as hockey or lacrosse. We also have a floodlit 3G mugger pitch, which is great for sports such as football or rugby. Next to this, we have the 60-metre running tracks and both tennis and squash courts. And finally, our Parkgate Road campus is home to the Careers and Employability Department. They are on hand to give you help with your career planning, whether that's mock interviews or looking over your CV. It's for people that are currently here or graduates for up to 2 years after graduation. Thank you for joining me on this tour around Parkgate Road campus. We hope to see you soon.
Good afternoon everyone. Welcome to Yen Global, another live session with one of our prominent partner, the University of Chester. We are very delighted to have you, Tasmina. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Assalamualaikum, Naveen. Thank you so much for having me. I'm good.
It's great to have you. We are just going to discuss many aspects for those students who would like to apply for University of Chester. We'll touch into May intake first, and then we'll be touching September if somebody is willing to go ahead. Just to start, just a little bit of brief about Yen Global. We are based in Dhaka, Dhanmondi. We have 2 other branches in Sylhet and Maulvibajar. We also have a global branch in Nigeria, India and Pakistan. We are in this industry more than 10 years. We have different department looking into different aspects when it comes to student visa. We have application team, we have compliance team, we also have counselors, we have marketing team. We are providing hand-to-hand service for the students who are willing to go to UK. So if you are interested, don't hesitate, call us. We'll be very, very happy to help you. So let's get back to one of the prominent University of Chester. We have been working with them for many years. We have been working with Tasmina for many years as well. So it's always good to work with you for your extra support and help. We are always thankful. So just to start with, can you just explain when this university started? Just a little bit of background, please.
Yes, thank you, Nobin. The University of Chester, as Nobin mentioned, we've been working with EN Global, who is one of our esteemed partners in Bangladesh for the longest of time. The university is a public university. It's located in the northwest of England. The university dates back to almost 1839, making it one of the oldest higher education institute in the UK. We are located, beside Manchester and Liverpool, almost 40 to 45 minutes and 2 hours by train from London. At the moment, we have over 15,000 plus students from across 130 countries. The university has very recently won the Business School of the Year at the Times Higher Education Award for 2024.
Okay.
University is also ranked in the top 50 in the UK by according to the Guardian University Guide. So it's a very good option for international students, specifically for Bangladeshi students, because of the range of programs that we offer and because of the affordable tuition fees, scholarships that we have that make it more lucrative for the students from Bangladesh.
Very good. So the location you mentioned is 2 hours from London, is it?
Correct. 2 hours by train from
Okay.
London and
Train,
40
yeah.
to 45 minutes from Manchester and Liverpool. So we would usually have most of our students coming into Manchester, and then they would drive from there, either take a taxi or a train from there to the main campus in Chester.
Yeah, it's a great location. If somebody doesn't want to live in London, some people, different people have different perspective. They think, oh, London is too crowded. Like people from everywhere. So I prefer a little bit quiet, nice city, little bit smaller. So
Mhm.
it's the best place for Chester, so they can have their own small city and very niche market. Like
Right.
yeah. What subject do you have available for May intake?
Yeah, okay, so our next intake, like you mentioned, is in May 2025, where we are running PG business programs majorly. So almost all our PG programs, business programs are available. So if I were to name a few, we have, banking and finance, digital marketing, innovation, entrepreneurship, international finance, tourism, management, logistics. So almost about 10 to 12 types of business programs that we are offering in the May intake. Along with that, we are also offering two computer science and engineering program, which is program and project management and advanced computer science. So we are also offering these two programs apart from our usual business programs. Now, these programs, Nobin students can come on to either 1 year or 2 years with us, because if for these programs, we also have a 2 years option. So the first year would be study, and the
Mhm.
second year would be professional placement or project, whatever the student chooses.
Oh, that's very good because after that it will help to build their CV. It will help them, to start their professional life because
Mhm.
they will have some practical experience here.
Yes,
That's good because they
yes,
will get PSW afterwards, so they
yes.
will be eligible to work full time. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's interesting. So these are the subjects as Tasnima mentioned. But if you want to apply for even like if this subject doesn't suit you, obviously in September they have more subjects for undergrad and also for um,
Postgrad.
masters as well. So feel free. Yeah, of course. Yeah. What about the tuition fees? Roughly how much it will cost?
So if a student is coming onto our May MSc programs,
Intake. Yeah.
the tuition fee would be £14,750 for the MSc programs. We also offer MBA. MBA is £14,950, just about like 200 to £300 more than MSc. On this, student will be eligible for scholarship. So if a student meets the entry requirement, which is 2.75, then they will get a scholarship of £1,500. And if they meet our merit requirement, which is 3.25, then they will get another additional £1,000. So there is a possibility of getting a total of £2,500, and that will bring your tuition fee down to almost £13,000 or under. And I believe that is a very, very, feasible or a
Drop order.
competitive
Yeah.
tuition fee for students from Bangladesh.
Of course, compared to the degree you're getting from UK, it is, yeah, it's very good and reasonable. So you already mentioned about the scholarship. So maximum they can get roughly around
2.5.
2,500, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. And entry requirements, do you take, like, let's say somebody finished 3 years bachelor
Mhm.
degree from Bangladesh, can they directly go to
Um,
masters or
Unfortunately,
MBA?
our requirement is 4 years. We would need them to have a 4-year bachelor, and they need to have minimum 2.75 for entry requirement. Now, I know some students have 3-year pass degree. In that case, if that student has done a master's, we will then be able to accept that student. So, if somebody already has a master's
Exactly.
program, we can accept them from a master's degree. But if they're applying after completing bachelor's, then it has to be a 4 years bachelor.
Okay, 4 years. Yeah. And what about the English requirement?
For English requirement, it's overall 6.5 if they're giving IELTS, no band below 5.5. But as you know, apart from IELTS, we also accept a varied range of tests like ELLT, Pearson, TOEFL, all those tests. So if the student is giving anything else and that meets our requirement, we are good to accept that as well.
And what about MOI uh, from
We're
Bangladesh?
not accepting MOI at the moment. I mean, this is something that is under discussion, but because we have a varied range of tests, I mean, it's just not only IELTS. Like I mentioned, we accept almost 10 to 15 types of tests, which is why we've still not gone into the MOI area. But most
Yeah.
of our students, they either give one or the other English language test, and they manage to
Mhm.
make it through. Additionally, if you're coming from like an O levels background, if you have a C or above in your English, then you're also exempted from requiring any further English language tests. So that option is also there.
Okay. And offer letter turnaround time, roughly how many
Offer turnaround
days?
time is usually 5 to 7 working days, depending on what time you're applying. Currently, because we are mainly focusing on the May
Mhm.
intake, it could be quicker than that. Important is that when the student are making an application, and I mean, EN Global plays a big part here, where just to ensure that they are submitting the correct documents in the first instance, like their academic transcript, their certificates, passports, so that we can issue the offer as soon as possible. A lot of times students wait to get the English language result, and they hold on to apply. I always tell students to make an application so that you can get the offer, you can get the conditional offer, and when you meet other further requirements, you can then submit that within the given deadline. But don't wait to have every documents at hand to make an application, because that will delay your process.
Of course. So as the Tasneem mentioned, so what we do when we get a student, like, we obviously go through their documents. So to make a application, we provide them the full details, what documents they will be required to get your offer letter. So we get it in advance before we apply. As soon as you get the offer letter, then we provide further assistance. What would be the next procedure? But it is always better to apply earlier than later, because the later you apply, you will have more complication during your application. You will be rushing. There is a high possibility of missing the deadline, so you don't want that. So if you're willing to apply, it's always better to apply earlier, so we can provide full service. We can guide you along the line until you get the visa. There's no problem. uh, so what about the accommodation? If they go for the university campus, what accommodation service do you have at the moment? Obviously they
As
can
we
stay outside the university, but yeah.
Yes. Yes, of course, like you mentioned, of course, they can stay with outside the university, where there are a lot of private accommodations, which are, of course, also in affiliation with the university. So,
Mhm.
these are genuine places that have their addresses on our university website. However, the university have their own
Mhm.
accommodation as well. We have accommodation on campus and off campus. So, depending on what the student's choice is. So, once the student makes the deposit or confirms their place at the university, our accommodation team will reach out to them asking if they require accommodation. There's a list of choices that you can make. It would usually range from, it starts from about £110 per week to going upwards, depending on the sort of accommodation you want. There is shared accommodation,
Local.
there is en-suite studio apartment. So depending on what your preference and your budget is, you can choose like that. But of course, you have to apply within the deadlines to ensure that you get a place, because although we do have a lot of accommodation, there is of course stuff, a lot of students who want to stay in university locations. So the important thing is to apply within the deadline.
Okay, so 110 pound roughly, yeah, like weekly. So
Per
that
week.
means monthly 450
Mhm.
pound, yeah, in a month, yeah. So it's best option obviously to get a quote from the university, and if you think it is too expensive, always you can search around the university outside private accommodation, which could be cheaper. Yes, your personal preference. Because some students they like to be in the university, so it's very handy for them to come into university. But again, it depends on the budget and everything. Yeah. And what other extra facilities you have? I mean, like let's say sports facilities, so that it's not just about study. Obviously, they need to enjoy their life as well when they're there.
Yeah. So of course, like I mentioned, the university has various campuses. Like we have around 4 to 5 campuses at the moment. Apart from, of course, the studies education, we have a lot of social clubs. There is a student support union as well. Students can get engaged in the various sports activities. There are gyms, swimming pools, outdoor indoor activity areas. The library is open 24/7. Essentially, students don't need to buy any books or materials. They could either find it online with their library card, or they can go on to our Simon library that was wonderfully showed in the video in the starting. Students can also join or do a lot of free workshop and sessions that the university holds throughout the year, and this is something that I probably urge a lot of students to participate in. These are skills and workshops that help you to write a CV. They teach you how to do mock interviews during your job. It's also about how to write a presentation, how to make a presentation, how to do PowerPoint work. So there are a lot of these educational workshops and seminars that are held throughout the year, which is of course free of cost to our students, that students can also participate and take advantage of.
So it's interesting. So what other thing do you like to mention? Let's say a student has many different choices, many different university. What advice would you give to a student to apply to Chester in your opinion, since you work there, like
Um,
the university inside out?
Yes. I think I'll probably like to start by saying that I am an alumni myself. I've been to the university, I've studied there, I've stayed in the city. So probably anything that I'm saying is a first-hand experience that I've faced myself.
Practical.
The first and foremost, of course, is the quality of education, and that is what everybody is going abroad for and spending a certain amount of their, finance. You will find excellent faculty who are very, very helpful, along with the education, the
Mhm.
current ranking that we have, either being the higher education business school of the year, or being the top 50 in the UK, and the scholarship and tuition fees that we are providing currently. All this together, it is affordable, it is reasonable, but also it places you in a good position once you have completed your studies to then go to either further education or work. According to our information, 91% of our students have gone on to further education or work after they have completed their undergrad studies with us. So that's a big number of our graduates who are then further going on to succeed in their life. For Bangladeshi students, I know that finance is a big concern. It's a price sensitive region. So like I
Mhm.
mentioned, the scholarship and tuition fees make it very, very affordable to do a good master's or an undergrad in the UK. I mean, although we've not touched upon the undergrad tuition fees or the scholarships, but we have scholarships in our undergraduate level as well, which is a rollover scholarship. So we have £2,000 scholarship that a student gets in year 1, year 2, and year 3. Essentially, in some places there's only scholarship for the first year, but then we have scholarship for 3 years. Whatever student pays in year 1, it's locked effect. Even if the tuition fee changes, they will just pay what they have paid in year one. So alongside the quality of education, the support they will get from the faculty, the tuition fees, I think Chester should be a good fit for any student who's wanting to, go to the UK to study.
Okay, and also the city Chester, like comparatively, it would be reasonably cheaper than London, I would say, if they stay out, like in a private accommodation, transportation, and things like that. I think, isn't it? Because it's outside
Yes.
of London.
Yes, like you mentioned in the beginning, a lot of students, want to go to London, or they want to or don't want to stay in bigger cities. But sometimes students don't take into factor the mere fact that when you are staying in a bigger city like London, your cost of living is also much more higher. If you're staying in
Hi,
place like
yeah.
Chester, the cost of living is quite affordable. It will be within your range. Most of our students can easily bear that by working their allowed hours in the UK. They can easily bear their living cost and their food cost. Commuting is a big expense if you're in a bigger city, but our university is
Mhm.
located in in such a place within the city itself. It's either in walking distance, or at best you can cycle. So that also saves a lot of time and your money, as well as you're going from one of your accommodation to the university campuses. The city is beautiful, very very safe for international students. Specifically, I know as females, traveling abroad, they have that concern. It's very safe. All the locals there know that this city is a university based city. There are a lot of international students. I'm pretty sure anybody who's going there will feel very very welcome. And I think that's also a big part of adjusting in a new city, in a new place, that the people there are welcoming, and that helps a lot of our students to settle down quicker and do well then in their studies and their education.
Hmm. First, yeah, as you mentioned, cycle, like in our country, like, in Bangladesh, cycle sometimes is too difficult, whereas
Yeah, yeah,
like, especially in the, cycling on the road is not that safe.
correct.
But in the West is different. Like, people
It's different.
cycling
Yeah.
all the time. There is a different lane for cycle. There is a special protocol for cycle. There is a special signal for cyclist, and then there is always incentive who cycles to work or to university.
Yes,
There is a
yes,
tax
exactly.
benefit as well. Like, it's not just about
Yeah.
cycling, and people
Mhm.
enjoy cycling. Yeah, like, it's a luxury. It's not like,
Yeah,
oh, you hate cycling.
that's the most important thing. They enjoy cycling. There is
Right.
dedicated lanes for
Even
cyclers.
though, yeah,
It's very very safe.
yeah, even though they, let's say, they have card, they can afford card easily, but they will still
Mhm.
cycle. It's like a pleasure.
Yeah.
So for students, it's really interesting. Like, especially in the medium-sized city, it's really really enjoyable, especially summer season. Cycling, enjoying the weather.
Mhm.
It's really good. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I think I asked covered most of the questions.
Mhm.
So just for the students, if you're willing to apply for Chester, like, we are direct partner, we are official partner. We have all the information you need. But even if we don't have, we have Tasnima who will always help us. So just don't hesitate if you think, what subject to pick, which semester to apply, how you want to set up your bank account, how you're going to do your medical test, like, you are confused what to do. Just don't hesitate. You can call us. We'll serve you. We are always here to help you. We have a skilled workforce. Most of our counselors, to be honest, they are from UK graduates, or, like, they are at least British council certified, so they know what they are doing. So you will be in good hand. So don't hesitate if you have any concern. We'll be always happy to help you. I will see if there is any questions, so we can answer instead
Yeah.
of just talking ourselves. Yeah. Okay. There is a question. Are Alim
Um,
Dakir students from Bangladesh are eligible for bachelor's?
I'm afraid not at the moment. This is something that we are reviewing, but at the moment we are not able to accept the Alin Dakhil students because the curriculum that being taught is sometimes falls a bit short of what is required if you want to come to direct entry with us. So not at the moment, but hopefully we are assessing this. There might be some changes in the near future.
Okay, thank you. Do you accept MOI? Oh yeah, so I think she mentioned already. Yeah, if you want to clear, please.
I think I've already mentioned, so we're not accepting MOI at the moment. However, we are accepting a varied range of English language tests. So if you are unable to give IELTS for some reason, which is the most commonly taken test, we also accept ELLT, we accept the Pearson test, TOEFL. So if something of that sort is more feasible for you to give, and if you meet our entry requirement, we can accept that. Can I do a
Can
second
we do
master's?
second
Yeah.
master?
You can apply for a second master's, but there is something called an academic progression, which is very important to understand. So if I simply just give a short example, if somebody's already done an MBA and you apply for an MBA with us, that is going to be rejected because you've already done a similar level of studies. There is no reason why you will come for the same
The
degree
same
again.
thing.
If you give a related apply to a related degree, for example, if you have done an MBA, you're working in a bank now you want to do MSc finance with us, that is a reasonable degree to apply into. So if you're doing something like that, that is in association with what you're currently studying, then you can apply for a second master's. In that case, you will need to have 3 GPA in your previous master's for qualification, or our CAS deposit.
What about cash deposit?
So once you've had an offer, you need to pay £5,000 to get your CAS. That £5,000 doesn't need to be paid at one go. You can pay £1,500 to begin with, and we will start your CAS processing. However, in order for you to finally receive the CAS, then you have to pay the remaining 3,500. Essentially, in order to finally get the CAS, you need to pay £5,000.
Do you accept how many years gap for undergraduate or postgraduate students?
For undergraduate student, we accept up to 5 year study gap with relevant evidence of what they have been doing during that gap year. We will exempt 1 year without any explanation. Anything beyond that, there has to be an explanation, and we'll accept up to 5 years for undergraduate. For postgraduate, we will accept up to 10 years. Again, a 1 year exemption. Beyond that, you have to give explanation of what you have been doing. This could be work, this could be voluntary work, or you have been in a different sort of education. Anything that you have been doing, if it's on a letter-headed paper, for example, there's you can get a work letter from wherever you're working,
Reference
or say
letter.
reference letters, or for example, you have been doing voluntary work. Students sometimes think that it always has to be paid
Mhm.
work references. It doesn't have to be that always. Anything that is viable and it's on a letterhead of where you have been working or studying, we will accept that. How long is the offer turnover? So offer turnover time is usually 5 to 7 working days. It could be shorter, like I said, depending on when you're applying. Currently, we are focusing more on the May intake. So if you're applying for a May intake, you should have an offer within 48 hours to at best 72 hours.
That's very fast. Yeah.
That's all.
Do you
Faisal, yes,
have
we do rest course.
rest courses?
We have varied range of MRES courses that you have to submit application for, along with a small, because you're going into an MRES program, you have to either submit like an abstract or a sort of summary with a research proposal. We pass it on to our supervisors, and if that is something that they want to work on, if it's related to the field that we already have available, then you will definitely get a response on that. We have a
Maybe
merit-based scholarship. It's on top of the international student scholarship, which is £1,500 for May. On top of that, if you have 3.25, which is our merit score, you will get another £1,000. So in total, it's a £2,500 scholarship eligibility for the May intake. Yes, Salman, we do offer courses with placement here. Either you can choose to have a work placement, or you can choose to do a project work, which is a lengthier version of like the dissertation that you would do at the end of your degree. So that will make, for that you have to apply into a 2 year program. I think I've already
Maximum
mentioned on the
scholarship for the university.
are coming on to undergraduate, it's 2,000 for the September intake. If you're coming on to postgraduate May intake, then that will be 2,500. IELTS requirement for LLM program is overall 6.5. So for all our general MSCs, irrespective of the program, it is 6.5, no band below 5.5. We have one or two programs where the overall requirement is 6, or some programs where it's higher, like 7, but the general requirement is 6.5. Each band only 5.5. I think that was probably.
Yeah, I think that's the last. Yeah, I think that's the last question. Thank you, everyone. I think we provided some beneficial information, and that was the last question. I think obviously we won't be able to cover all the questions. I'm sure we have more questions, but we have some limitation of time as well. So thank you all for watching. So once again, welcome to Young Global. Sometime actually we get students from UK, their relatives are living in UK, and they want to talk to us, like, so we have office in UK as well. Like they can always go to and visit to our UK office as well. We are very, very flexible because we have branch in different countries. So we are the same team, but feel free to join there as well if you think your relatives want to talk to them directly. Obviously, you can reach us in Dhaka office as well. So feel free to ask us any question. We'll be always here to help you. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much, Tasmina, for your time. Would love to see you again, and we'll have another live session so that the student can get even more information if they require. Thank you
Sure,
so
yeah.
much. Thank you.